All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app. Your home smart speaker up on TSN 4. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jonas Siegel of The Athletic.
Let me ask you something to start the show. I come in here every Leaf game, and then once in a while on Mondays. Every time I come in, I go across the street and I buy you and that scuzzball back there a coffee. We get the same coffees. We have fun with it.
Yeah.
Has it ever crossed one of the two of yours mind that maybe one time you guys go get the coffee?
Couple things on that.
Dude,
one,
I'd love to hear this one.
Doogie has done that. Doogie has gone out and said, I'm going over there to pick up a fax, and I'm bringing them back for the boys.
Once.
I have not done that, and believe me, I thought of it today. Here's the thing. I had to come in early. I've been in here since like 1 o'clock.
Dude,
I'm not going to – I had to do SportsCenter at 3:30. I was taping with Nick Taylor. I don't have a chance to go out and get it.
Dude, I know.
Next time, I will go get it.
Listen.
I promise.
Taping with Nick Taylor took 20 minutes. And you had an hour from that time.
I had time, but they'd be cold. By the time you arrive, it's all about planning, right, Jonas? You got to make. There's no point buying coffees, having them sit there for 45 minutes.
But Jonas, if you saw somebody, let's say in a 4-month span, and 20 times they got you a coffee, wouldn't you say, "Hey, that guy's coming in. Like, I'm going to see that guy. I'm going to get him a coffee today."
But that's not Hayes, right?
Why is that not me? I'm labeled as a guy that doesn't reciprocate.
That's a shot right there.
That's a vicious shot. You don't think I reciprocate? I love to reciprocate.
We just heard you don't ever reciprocate.
Well, but here's a couple things on
buying
that.
Are you buying him lots?
I didn't know you were doing that today.
Dude, it's a $10 coffee. I'm not going to lie.
There was no text. There was no, hey, I'm going to go out there and get it. I wasn't aware that you were doing that today.
You know it's caught.
I thought of it today. When am I going to see you next?
Thursday.
I will be here, and I will have bells on, and I will have coffees for everybody.
And there should be like a snack, too.
Yeah, okay. I can't get snacks for this guy, though. He doesn't eat anything of substance.
No.
This guy only eats, what do you eat? I don't know what
salads and whatever.
Coffee's on Thursday. It's happening. You can bank on it. But I don't want to hear complaints. It's a little bit cold. When I come in, that's when I'm going to get it.
Well, dude.
So that's the way it's going to be.
Here's what I do. I come here for like 2:30. I get geared up. Around 3:20 is when I drive over, and I have them here, and they're gorgeous.
Yeah,
that's what I'll
Good
do.
point. It is across the street.
It is possible to do that.
Honestly, you could leave here at 3:45 and be back in plenty of time with the faxes.
It's a drive-through.
There's a drive-through.
It's a big drive-through.
Here's the second sports question to start the show that I have for you. Can you think of one or two performances? I guess you would have to remove golf from the equation because their paychecks are based on Saturday, Sunday finishes. Sam Darnold, can you think of a couple performances that have cost a guy cash like what he has done his last two outings?
No, I really cannot give you an example. I can't give you an example.
The only example, I don't know why I think of this, so random. Do you remember Dennis Schroeder, who played for the Raptors?
That was a negotiating tag.
It's different. He got offered some crazy contract by the Lakers. He's like, nah, not going to take it.
That is true. That's a really good reference, but that was dumb negotiating, and his agent jammed them.
But I'm talking about performance-based.
Yes. No, I think it's the uniqueness of football also where you just don't have enough games to play. You have such a short period of time to prove who you are. In college, you get like 10 games.
Yeah.
You may not start as a freshman, you likely won't. Sophomore, probably not. Junior, maybe a couple. You basically have your senior year in college football, 10 to 12 starts. You have to prove who you are. And then you get to the NFL. If you're Sam Darnold, he spent the first 5-6 years in his career proving that he's maybe a backup.
A bust.
Or a bust, quite frankly. A bust. Third overall bust.
And he was supposed to be the backup this year.
Well, that's what's important to point out. J.J. McCarthy, when they drafted him, the belief was McCarthy would start. And then he got injured early in camp, and I think that allowed Darnold maybe to somehow push everything out of his mind, like he wasn't preparing to be a starter. And to his credit, he was exceptionally awesome and productive for 16 games. And the Sunday nighter in Detroit and the game last night made everyone revert back to New York Jets. Sam
Dude, I've never
Darnold.
seen a guy get sacked like that, man.
Well, in the offensive line, did not help him.
I
that's
got
the
it.
one thing you have to point out. You got to be fair here to Sam Darnold. He should go back and rescind whatever gift he gave his offensive line, because that's the big play now in the NFL. Quarterbacks get trucks, or they get
RVs,
it's like here's a specialized guitar signed by Bruce Springsteen.
Of the 9 sacks, how many are on him? 4? 3, 5?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to
many.
review the tape. There are a few of them that were certainly on him.
Regardless of how you want to break down.
No, it was
line,
crushing last night.
It's spendy.
Yeah, it cost
because
him.
If that guy took the Vikings on a run, God knows what kind of contract some garbage team would have offered him to be their starting quarterback.
Well, I think the Vikings would have been the one that likely said, we're moving off J.J. McCarthy, and you're going to be our guy in the future. So he would have continued to be coached by Kevin O'Connell, continued to throw to Justin Jefferson. Like, it was just it was a dream come true for any quarterback in that situation. And it still might happen.
They could franchise him for 1 year, right?
They're not going to franchise him.
No chance?
I don't think so.
Wouldn't that make sense, though? Like, see what McCarthy can do, like,
It's actually not
halfway
the
through?
worst idea. It's not the worst idea, Jonas, but then what happens next year if he plays well? Do you keep him? Do you just never give J.J. McCarthy
Isn't
a shot?
it similar to what the Niners did with Jimmy? Kind of. But they made the Super Bowl. I guess that's where it's different.
You're talking Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, like they're like, we made the Super Bowl, but Jimmy's not it. And they moved off him, and that's when they drafted Trey Lance.
That's right.
That did not work out.
But Brock Purdy, I guess, did to an extent. But
did you see, by the way, what Justin Jefferson said?
After the game?
I got to read you his quote. They asked him, I guess, about like bringing Darnold back. He said, I didn't know who my quarterback was going to be after last season, and I really didn't care. At the end of the day, I'll always say that I'm confident in myself to perform the same way that I've been performing, but it's not my job to say who is going to be the quarterback or who I want to be the quarterback.
Is that
basically
business, or is that him just saying, I'm not going to?
That wasn't as explosive as
I thought he was going to bury the guy. Be like, if Sam Darnold's here, I'm not.
I read that and I was like, seriously? I'm used to like athletes just being like, yeah, he's a great quarterback. I'd love to have him back.
Yeah.
But the business is the business. But like, that's like,
that
I
sounds
don't
like
really
a guy
care.
that sounds like a guy that's been paid.
Yeah.
And that's what Justin Jefferson, he's been paid. So that sounds to me like a very typical wide receiver answer where it's like, I'm getting paid. I'm going to run my routes. I'm going to do my job. I don't know who's going to play quarterback, but you can bank on me continuing to do what I'm going to do.
Well, it puts the Vikes in a position where, like, they got a pretty good squad, man. How many years could they piss away not having that elite quarterbacking, and it's going to cost you? And how much money do you want to invest in one of our kind of Daniel Jones type guys where it's like, are we going to get just going to?
That's the question, right? Like,
it would be McCarthy, no?
Well, and McCarthy will be on a rookie deal, but you don't know what he is at the NFL. Like, J.J. McCarthy was
You said the other day, rookies don't win in the playoffs.
They don't.
I know. So why would that be the guy?
Jaden Daniels won one game. He's not winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
never know.
I'm pretty certain of that.
By the way, great job, Doogie, on making this pick suspenseful, the way the stats are lining up.
I have to say something on behalf of this program. I was so embarrassed last night. Collectively, we were horrendous. And let's also point out, as I deflect, that weekend was horrible. The football was awful.
Yeah.
The games were terrible.
The Packer game was really disappointing.
It was a lifeless game. There was nothing to it on either side.
Well, that's our excuse. They sucked us into that vacuum, and
exactly
we became a part of it.
And even the one game that was compelling and close, and the one road team that actually won, because all home teams won and they won big, was the Bucs game, which felt somewhat unfulfilling because it was like a botch snap, 2 botch snaps in the fourth quarter. It was strange. And then once Washington got the ball, it was a formality that they were going to move the chains, or it felt that way, and they were going to kick a winning field goal. Credit to them. If you're in Washington, you deserve it. They've had a lot of hardships over the years. But I think if you're being honest, if you're a football fan, it was just a bad week. Just a bad week of football. Ugly. Now, what you get out of it is Ravens-Bills on Sunday night. That's the payoff. That's all I really wanted as a football fan.
And a 1-1 scoreboard.
And a 1-1 scoreboard between Hazenbrough and Owen Wilson.
Somebody just sent a random tweet. I don't know if you breezed by it. It was like, are you guys serious with those selections?
It was really bad.
It was bad.
Like, we didn't get one spread right. We each got one total correct.
Do you think it's because your expert has been lounging.
Al's
cruise
brother?
ship? Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
worry
doesn't-
about where his
he
head's
doesn't
at.
drive this ship. This guy does, so don't blame him.
Yeah, I got to own it. Stupid picks. Yet, at the same time, it's all tied, and that's very suspenseful, right? That's all you need. Glass half full is we're still tied going into
It would just
championship
look
weekend.
better if the number was higher than
Right.
1-1.
If it was like 9-9 or something.
Yeah, I
like-
see no problem if you get the pick wrong. And Doogie, maybe you can chime in here on what your thought process were or lack of. Why not have the number continue to grow? Like, do you find 1-1 to be sexy? Doogie?
Not at all, but it's up to you guys to make the right pick.
That's a very appropriate
We wouldn't
answer.
be talking about it if you guys picked the right games.
We can't blame Doogie for us.
Back to the show, Doogie. Back to the show.
we picked horrible picks.
But why is it 1-1?
Well, it's a
There are more
During
than
the regular
two
scoring
season,
process.
if you got it wrong, the other team got the point. This guy decided to stop doing that.
we've put it in. We've tried to change it for the playoffs, the scoring system. So if you get the spread right, it's 2 points. None of us got. We went 0 for 6 as a show on the spread.
Wow, that's
Awful,
embarrassing.
horrendous. And you get 1 point if you get the total right. We went 2 for 6. They got one right. We got one right. It's a 1-1.
Dude, we had a guy with a Super Bowl ring bitching for the extra point on Sunday like it was a pot of gold.
Pathetic. Pathetic behavior. And honestly, Al's brother and I were fighting back, which was equally as pathetic. So just a lot of loser energy all around, quite frankly. But it's going to change next weekend. We've got 4 games next weekend. The picks will be on Friday. We've got Jesse Palmer coming up in the 6 p.m. hour today. As I mentioned, Nick Taylor's going to be on the show today. He's at the Amex this week. He's not slowing down, man. He did 2 weeks in Hawaii and right into Palm Springs.
Dude, why not go on a heater? You know the theory. Win 90% of your money in 10% of the events. Like, you just go on a 2 or 3 week heater and you're shoving $6 million in your bank account. You're going to the Tour Championship. You were set for the year.
You're
or
set for the year. Set for the year. I mean, he made 1.5 at the Sony. Everyone got paid in Kapalua. He didn't finish well. I don't know what he made, but
the key is to win a signature event and shove 5 sheets in the bank account. You know how many
Yes.
times Scotty Scheffler did that last year?
every single one.
yeah.
Every single one he won.
Yeah.
Like it was absurd. He won the Players. He won the Arnie Palmer. He won at Memorial. He won everything. He at Harbortown after the Masters. The guy went Masters, Harbortown, back-to-back weekends.
It's insane.
Like and him not being around is very beneficial for people. Like that's big because he would have played definitely the Century. He was supposed to play this week at the Amex, and I doubt he's at the Farmers. I don't even know if he'll be at Pebble Beach. Like if you're on the PGA Tour right now, you're praying that guy's
Dude,
hand
get
does
to
not
every
recover.
signature event
Yeah.
and get your licks in, because when that guy comes back, they know what's going to happen.
Well, that's what came out of the interview with Nick, and again, we'll play it later on. But he was, I believe, in the first 2 elevated events, which was the Century and I believe Pebble Beach, but no guarantees beyond that. With that win, he's in everything now. He's in the Masters, he's in the PGA Championship, and now he's in all of the big events.
So he just talked about how huge it was.
Oh, it's a massive way to start his year. Now he's just got to qualify for the U.S. Open and the British Open, but everything else he's playing in. Like it's just a massive, massive ordeal to win this early in the season.
Yeah.
Leafs Dallas tonight, the beginning of the Steven Lorentz era. What's this like for you, Jonas? You get to cover Steven Lorentz playing on a line with Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner.
First, let's dive into what you believe to be the reasoning.
Well, I asked Craig Berube that this morning, and he basically said energy, to breathe, I guess, some energy.
What does that
to
say about
line.
your 2 best players?
I knew you were going to say that because I think we've talked about this in the past where you've kind of said, like, why do we always make it about the other guy?
Yeah.
And I think it's fair. Like, they haven't been good the last 2 games. They haven't really, like, they had that one game, but they've kind of been, like, really up and down.
What does it say about the kid that's been on fire and scoring a bunch of goals and about to blossom?
I think that's like,
Matthew Knives, yeah.
Yeah, but that's partly about, like, Pacioretty wasn't working with Tavares and Nylander, and, like, I guess you could break up the McMahon, Domi, Robertson line, which actually hasn't been that good. What I would have done, I would have put Domi up with Matthews. I think he.
There's another thing.
Spark,
There's a guy that hasn't produced offensively.
Yeah.
You could get him going.
Get him going.
There's
That's what I
another
think we should have
option.
done. But we've seen this. Like I heard you guys talking about it yesterday. Remember, like Wayne Simmons played on the top line for a couple games. Like they do this every once in a while. I think it's like the middle of the season. You pointed out it's like guys are kind of tired. This is like something different. You can tell like Lorentz is like very excited, nervous.
Massive opportunity for him.
Yeah, like it's not gonna.
It's not likely going to change his career to the point where he becomes a first line left
It's
winger.
not gonna last.
There's only
Very
one
long.
circumstance where he spends more than a week.
Yeah,
there.
it might be
and
a
that's
game.
if he scores 2 goals for the next 3 games.
Yes.
Or the other guys get red hot. I think you can rely on that too.
Oh yeah.
Steven
Yeah.
Lorentz goes
You're
up
like
and down the
you're
wing.
like Mitch and Auston. You get hot right now, and
Exactly.
I'm sticking around.
Because that, coaches, and Berube's kind of a throwback where I don't think he's looking at a chart afterwards necessarily. He's more of a feel guy. If Auston and Mitch are dancing tonight,
Yeah, they're both +4 after the game.
Steven Lorentz is playing there.
Yeah,
He's
you're
not
right.
coming off that line.
I mean, think of what they did. Like I was thinking about it. What they did after that loss, they basically did 2 things: put Steven Lorentz on the first line and played Ryan Reeves. Those are the 2 moves. And it's like
From Saturday night.
from Saturday night, like those
Yeah.
are the 2 moves. And it's like energy type moves, I guess. Like
What's the deal with Pacioretty? Is it that they think his play is falling off, or that he's too tired?
I think Berube has implied that this was kind of the plan coming in, that they would sit him sometimes. You can kind of tell right now, maybe his legs aren't there, so maybe you give him the odd night off. Like is he 36?
Yeah.
And it's not
And
gone as
major
well.
injuries.
Yeah, like it's the middle of the season. We'll see. Like left wing is still like a position where they're not like super strong. Like Nyes is fine.
Well, Nyes and McMahon are going to play.
Yeah, but like they're not like, it's not like they're so proven, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't really have, like if Nyes isn't playing on your top line, who is?
Well, I've always been a believer, and I still am, that Max Domi, come playoff time, will be on the wing. I would be very
I think that is
surprised if he plays up the middle
clearly
of the
their
ice.
plan.
Yeah, and it was around this time last year, maybe a little bit later in the season, they put Bertuzzi, Domi, and Matthews together.
Yep.
And it was a very, very successful
Dude,
line.
it was on fire, that line.
It was a great line. And what's interesting is that Berube has
Where was
been.
Mitch playing during that time,
I
by
can
the way?
check for you.
He was with Tavares, yeah, and I think Willie
Well, and
was on a
actually-
third line.
Yeah.
Like Willie was playing. I mean, you'd have to. Who was he playing with down the
I
stretch?
have all these lines.
And that was
I
quite a
can't
few
remember.
games that they stuck together too, didn't they?
Domi and
Bertuzzi
Matthews.
and-
Oh yeah, and into the playoffs.
Oh, Marner was hurt.
Oh, Marner had the
That's
high
how-
ankle sprain.
That's
That's
why.
right. Marner had the high ankle sprain. So Willie would have been playing with Tavares.
Yeah.
But Berube has been very committed to Matthews and Marner playing together. Like very committed. We have seen them,
In-game change.
in-game changes, and there have been some times, and Austin's been hurt, which has forced his hand. But I don't know if he's going to get off that. Like, it would appear to me as if Berube is pretty stubborn, and he's like, this is what's happening. These two are going to play together, and they have to figure it out.
Which do you guys think is better?
I mean, their history would suggest I think they play better when they're not together. Like, they seem to be more of a driving force when they're not together. And I would link the power play struggles like a similar mentality. There's this sense of deferral. Like, you drive the line. No, you drive the line, and you drive the power play. No, you need an alpha.
Can you remember the last time when is the last time where we said that power play is lethal?
Not this year.
Not at any point this year, and really not any point down the stretch or in the playoffs last year.
No.
Like, it was a pretty abysmal power play the last 20 games of the year last year. I honestly think it's been a calendar year probably. Because like a few years ago, they were the number 1 power play in the league. And then the next year, I think they were the 2nd power play in the league or close to it.
And that power play, that was the lockout power play, wasn't it?
Which
Like,
is
they had
always a little bit deceptive.
They had some crazy, stupid power play that had a percentage that the Quizmaster, he was quite excited about.
And they were playing
But I'm
teams
pretty
that-
sure that power play was William Nylander, John Tavares, Mitch Marner, Auston Matthews, and Morgan Riley.
Yeah.
So what the hell's gone on where that just can't work? Where did that magic go? What did they get away from? I'd love to know the answer.
They don't have it. Like Brad Treliving doesn't have, not that it's his responsibility, he's the GM. It's on the coaches and the players. But Brad spoke to it yesterday that it's a complete non-starter for them right now. If anything, it is sucking the life out of that building.
Yeah.
Like it is wild
Crazy.
to watch them go on the power play.
What's crazy is you talk about how sophisticated things are now in pro sports, especially with, you go down there to a practice, there's skill coaches, there's hockey players that are making $13 million, there's high price this and high price that, and you put them all on the ice, and the simple thing they have to get back to is just getting pucks to the net and going there and chasing them down and then making skill plays after that. Like, it's crazy that all of the stuff that goes into pro sports and pro hockey, like, that's what they have to get back to. How many times have I told you that there's got to be some chaos in front of the net before skill plays can happen? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, they just don't get anyone moving either. Like the penalty killers, it just seems like the easiest power play to defend against. Everything's on the perimeter. No one's moving.
Dude, if you pass it to William Nylander, and I talked about him yesterday, that guy's got an unbelievable one-timer. He shoots the puck as well as anybody in the National Hockey League.
Yep.
How many times have you just seen Morgan Riley pass it to him at the top and him rip one? So it's so easy to guard against him if you know you're just going to pass it back.
Analytics corner over here, he's not getting any shots. Like, if you look at statistically, it's way, way, way down.
On the power play?
On the power play. 5 shots on the power play.
What about all of them? To get like what are all of their shots down on the power play?
I haven't looked at all of them. I think
I would say
up, actually.
Yeah, I would say yes, though, probably across the board.
Yeah.
Again, it just seems like a very.
But there is
perimeter.
one situation that I'll jump on board with your analytics train and put my nerd hat on. I'll drive the caboose, and I'll say there's where you start. Shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck. But let me ask you this.
But not from the point, though, because your analytics would say point shots
Get it closer to
are
the net.
stupid. You can't have point shots. We got to clarify that.
I just want to know, like, you
Take that hat off.
played in the league, obviously. One thing I've noticed, they don't practice it as much as they used to. Does that matter? So yesterday, they practiced
I went to a couple practices a couple years ago, and they practiced that power play, and I watched it. I'm like, that's the best power play I've ever seen
And
in my
so
life.
they used to do it a lot. When Spencer Carberry was running the power play, they used to do it, like, before practice. Just those 6 people would be on the ice for like 15, 20 minutes. It used to be like a regular thing. They don't really do that anymore. Does that matter? Like, am I thinking that matters so much? Like,
I would say you're yes. The answer has to be yes because look at the
matter.
results.
Yeah.
You
So
know what I'm
yesterday they were on the ice practicing their power play more than they have all year. Like, 20 minutes before, 20 minutes after. Like, it was. I've never seen that all season. So I wonder if they're like, you know what, maybe we should practice.
Maybe we should practice it.
Yeah, maybe we should mix in a massive issue for us right now and try to iron out some problems.
One thing I will say, I'm not a believer, and it might be a short-term fix, and it might be just for the right now. He's so gifted. He's one of the few players in the league. You can put him at any position on the ice. I don't think a long-term solution is 5 forwards and Mitch Marner being back there.
I agree.
Like, you're not taking that into the playoffs and beating a quality team like the Boston Bruins or the Florida Panthers. You're not rolling with that. So something needs to be done, and it's got to be done before the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, you got less than 40 games, man. It's going to happen quickly.
But what do you do? Because, like, the pieces are all the same, right? Like, I don't know. Do you mix the 2 stars up on a different units?
Even that, though, like,
it's difficult to say to guys that are these, like, that they're this skilled. It's like, but you almost have to say to them. I played with some European guys who would piss around in the power play, and the coach would only put them out the last 20 seconds of the power play because he would be like, now he's going to show some urgency.
Yeah, I got 20 seconds.
I got 20 seconds and that's it. But it's almost like these guys have gotten so comfortable where they're not getting pulled off, and they know they got 2 minutes, so they just dilly-dally around. So the idea of practicing, like, okay, you guys, you've got 30 seconds here, almost like an empty net type of drill. Show some urgency, get a puck to the net and go get it and make a play. Yep. But would that really sink in come game time when they know they're going to stay out there for the 2 minutes? I don't know.
It's a good point, though. There never seems to be any urgency with their puck retrieval in their own zone. And it's not
it's like, we're going to go back and get it, and then we're going to go back and drop it back and this
through
and
the
that.
stick, and we'll get in, and then we'll set up, and then Auston goes and button hooks, and it's like, guys, like, how about you? Like, the opposition, it just seems like it's so easy to defend. They're like, I know what these guys are going to try to do.
You remember that stretch in November when Matthews was out? Their power play actually looked pretty good for a little bit. And they were just moving it. Like,
they were shooting it on net, and Nyes had a bunch of tips and stuff.
It was very like, let's not think, let's just play.
But that's I'm sure, and I understand the conundrum here. You're like, you have all this talent.
Yeah.
The idea of a meat and potatoes power play seems counterintuitive.
Let me correct you. It's a meat and potatoes approach to start, and then after that, then you could use your elite skill, and that's when you're going to have your bang bang, slam dunk plays, through the seam, backdoor plays. Yeah. It starts out meat and potatoes, and if you do that properly and retrieve pucks with some urgency, then you can have the $12 million skill takeover and bury teams.
Yeah. That should be, I mean, that seems like the game plan that would make the most sense. create some chaos, and find a window for Matthews or Nylander.
But aren't we just going to come back
off.
to the same thing?
No, I understand. We've been doing it forever, but the clock is ticking.
And another
They gotta
valuable
figure this
asset, we
out.
talk about how Willie can shoot the puck and how dangerous Matthews is with that snapshot or wrist shot, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the other threat they have is not many guys in the league better in front of the net than John Tavares and Matthew Nyes. Like, they're big, they're solid, they've got great hands, and they can tip pucks and dig them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a bunch of quality options there. They're just not finding the right one that's open.
The sum of the parts, man. Like they have every detail you would possibly want. Every
But that's what happened.
characteristic.
Remember in Pittsburgh last year, you're like Crosby, Malkin, Carlson, Letang, and it never worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched them the other day. You know who's running the point on the power play? Matt Grzelcyk. Neither guy is on their top unit.
You know,
Neither one.
Seriously.
Yeah. And I
That's
was like,
pretty wild.
That's interesting.
You know
That's
who
a
could run it
ballsy
here at some
transfer.
point? John Klingberg. John Klingberg is back in the news. We'll tell you more about that. Confirm or deny still to come as well this hour. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Auston trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for Confirm or Deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
Well, I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
All right, Confirm or Deny, brought to you by DMX One Step 2.0, the high-performance flooring underlayment that makes your vinyl or laminate floors warm, comfortable, and mold-free. DMX One Step 2.0, no mold, no cold. Let's get after it here. Let's begin with the real heat. All right? Confirm or deny, Steven Lorentz will stay with Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner throughout the rest of the week. Tonight, Thursday, Saturday in Montreal.
Dude, I'm going to lay this out for you, okay? It's 100% deny, and he won't get through this first period.
Yes, he will.
Dude.
What's the point of giving him... It's not
Because
a make-a-wish scenario where he's
it
out
isn't.
there.
I know that, and I love the guy. He's one of my favorite players on the
He
team.
works hard. He loves
works
being a
hard.
Leaf. He's excited for you.
But
You're not
how
giving him...
the coach has taken Mitch Marner after the first period. So you don't think if things don't look good after one period, he's the first guy to come off the line? It's 100% deny. Stevie, I hope it works out.
Jonas?
I agree with Jeff. Like, there's no chance.
Yes.
Tonight, Dallas, good team. Thursday, Jersey, good team.
If they don't have mojo tonight, good night.
He's right. It could be over after the
no
first
mojo
period.
Okay.
tonight.
It could go a
Night.
few shifts. Like, it won't be because
Why
of
would
him.
you give him... What's the point of 3 shifts?
That's the big question.
What's the
point of
point?
doing this period?
I don't
Exactly.
know.
There's no point. Unless you're actually going to give
You're
him an
not-
opportunity to bring something that you want him to bring to the table.
This is
Which
simple. Like, they're getting plus minuses are getting hammered. It's safety. It's a good smart. It's a cup champ. He's reliable.
I'm confirming it. I'm confirming
outta
it,
here.
A, out of spite, but B, because these other two guys, the message is more about the other two guys.
Yeah, which is
you
why
better
it's not
snap
gonna
out of
last.
it and get. Why? Well, what if they play well though, Jonas? Like that's the whole purpose of it.
So you're gonna part of playing on that line is you play a lot.
You said
Yeah.
it all. This is out of spite only. You're answering the
Well,
It's a spite answer.
Okay, listen. If it's not him, it's probably Nyes would go back there.
Sure,
Who else are they
McMahon.
going to put up there?
McMahon,
Maybe.
Domi, do it like.
But Domi's playing up the middle of the ice.
I know, change like you can change. That's what I would have done.
Domi's got to get going too. I mean, they need a lot more out of Max,
For sure.
clearly. But I don't. He's not. He doesn't really deserve the opportunity either, based on the way he's been playing.
It's not. It's spark.
He's
right?
got more offensive ability. He's definitely going to be more comfortable playing with high end players. Talking about Max Domi.
and playing the wing.
But if you're putting Lorentz up there, I mean, I'm guessing that they see something in this opportunity for him. It's not going to be long term.
They do.
I'll give him
You're
the rest of the
reading
week.
way too much into it.
What's the point of 3 shifts?
It's not.
What is the point? But that's what you guys are saying. He's not getting out of the first
It's
period
just like
tonight.
a spark to change.
You know
It's not a
what?
participation.
You've never thought about this scenario. What if they get down a couple? There is a scenario.
But you know what the scenario would be?
Yeah, he might
Not
take
his
a-
fault.
Yeah, they might take.
Look at
Marner
the
off.
other 2 guys.
But it's still a reality. They get down a couple. He's bumped off the line. It's
he
still-
might. But at what point do they look at Matthews and Marner and say, maybe you guys need to do something here? Like maybe you need to snap out of it.
That's kind of the message, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
And that's what I'm saying. I think they will snap out of it starting tonight.
And they played Dallas really well. I don't know why.
Generally speaking. Dallas, red hot lately.
Yeah.
Red hot. Confirm or deny, Roki Sasaki
Deny.
choosing the Jays
Dude, I
would make
can't
up for
even know.
all of the misses the past 2 off seasons.
Dude,
All of the misses
it's
if
not
you
a
get
secret
Roki.
that the hit you did with Steve Phillips was taped and it's going to go to air soon.
Yeah.
But I walked in the building and I saw you and I saw Steve in the return and I heard Sasaki, Jays. Where have you heard this before? And I don't know what Steve said, but I guarantee you he said there's not a chance in hell that this guy is signing with the Blue Jays. As soon as the word Dodgers pop up as interested too, it's over.
It's terrifying. And apparently Sasaki is meeting with the Dodgers today.
Yeah.
And the reports indicate like the stars are out. That means probably Shohei's there. Like that's the ultimate mic drop. If this guy, a Japanese player, walks in and Shohei Ohtani goes, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah, and then it's Mookie Betts, and then it's Clayton.
Well,
Kershaw.
and they
Freddie
have-
Freeman sitting there. waiting for
Yamamoto's
you.
on the team.
Yamamoto's on the team. Like he rolled through Toronto when it was minus 12 outside.
And you put the hand out and say, "Don't even worry about the interpreter."
Right. I'll take care of you.
Yeah.
You can stay at my house.
Otani's just like dialed in.
It's yeah. Listen, I will say this. I'm going to confirm that him choosing the Jays would make up for a lot of
Really?
the issues in the past. Yes, because those are gone. At some point, you got to get a winner here. You have to sell someone on taking your team up on the option. You got to land somebody here. Like they've gone in on Ohtani, they've gone in on Soto, they went in on Corbin Burns. They've been on a bunch of guys, and they all say thank you, but no thank you.
Well, and you know what
you
sucks?
have to land somebody at some point because you're pissing off everybody.
Dude, they landed a guy whose elbow is going to fall off.
Shoulder is the issue, I think, with
Shoulder.
Yanni Hoffman.
After other teams were like,
Yeah, but listen, it's still worth giving it a shot. Hoffman's a good arm. Like if he's healthy, it's a good play. And the thing is about Sasaki here, if you can bring him in, that's huge. He's young, he's cheap, and he's under control, and they need help with the rotation.
Aren't the Jays
I'm
at a
coming
point?
around on this.
I know, but aren't the Jays at the point where they're like, why did Hoffman pick us?
Yeah, it has to be terrifying. It has to be terrifying. The Braves and the Orioles, both.
No, but everybody with it, like, how did they must be like,
I know.
Of all the guys that we tried to sign and this guy picked us, what the hell's going on here?
It's terrifying.
There's a rat here, and it's probably his shoulder.
And that's why, again, the Sasaki thing. Do I think he's signing here? No, I don't think he is. I think he'll go to the Dodgers. I think the Padres are really legitimately in on it. But it is getting to a point now where we all speak with Blue Jay fans all the time. They are so infuriated. And I can't blame Shapiro and Atkins because it's the right move. Try to get these guys. Go in and try. But at some point, you have to answer for yourself. And I'm talking about the front office. Why can you not land anybody?
Well, and why is your team not better than it
Why
is?
can
why
you
is
not
your farm system not good? Like why?
Well, and that's probably answering why you can't land people.
Well, in
because
this
they're
case-
looking at it saying, who am I playing with?
Yes.
And am I ever going to win up here?
And in this case, they can't offer him more money. As
It
I
has
understand.
nothing to
It's
do with
all
money.
the same money.
It's on. This is a grand slam for whoever gets him. Now, I don't know if he'll be a great pitcher. We'll see. But he's on basically a minor league deal, and he's under team control for, I think, 6 years. So it's not about money. It's not a posting scenario because he's too young, and he hasn't played professionally in Japan long enough to qualify for that. So it has nothing to do with money.
So what are you selling him on?
You're selling your program. You're selling Pete Walker, I guess, and you're selling maybe opportunity.
Dude, just think about that for a second.
Honestly,
hang on a sec. You just said you're selling an opportunity, Pete Walker, and the program, and you just mentioned the other one. You're getting off a bird in a boardroom is Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Clayton Kershaw, Mookie Betts, Dave Roberts,
and their World Series rings.
Yeah.
and their rings.
Yeah.
And palm trees and
L.A. I hear you, man.
like think about
I
what
hear
you're
you.
like the two options are there. That's crazy.
And the other
Tom.
option is San Diego.
San Diego
Which
ain't bad
also
either.
would be very compelling.
Nice place to live.
Very compelling. All right, moving on. Confirm or deny, the Ravens should be favored over the Bills this weekend.
I
And to
don't think
clarify,
so.
they are favored right now, but that is an accurate assessment of what should be happening. Confirm or deny.
Not the right approach for me, but I'm going to fly with it. I just think there's something special about the Bills, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's capable of taking down the Ravens, but I just got a good feeling about Josh Allen I have all year. I don't know if it was the one Jim Nantz call where he ran one in from 20 yards, and he was like, that's the statement play of the year. I don't know. I got a good feeling about them. I think they're going to take them down. I think they might go all the way. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl for a long time.
I kind of feel good about them too. I think whoever wins on Sunday is going to go into Arrowhead and win that game.
Interesting.
I think the Chiefs are
That
going to lose in
is
the
a
championship
crazy
game.
statement.
I feel the opposite.
You think whoever wins this game, it's irrelevant? They're going to go in and
Not
lose to
irrelevant,
Kansas City?
but if I was picking the game, and I guess you guys will pick the game,
Yeah.
how do you not pick Kansas City? I've seen big game. They always come through. Why?
Totally understandable. My answer to that would be history. Like at some point you're going to lose. They're not going to win every single year. Like it just doesn't work that way. Secondly, yes, they have won a lot of games, close games.
I'm not
At
even
some
talking
point-
about those games. I'm talking about the playoffs.
Yes, but even those have been very close games. Like they've beaten the Bills in the last couple of
Right.
years by field goal, like end of game field goals or in overtime. It's not like they're blowing teams out. The margins are very thin, and I think at some point the Bills and or the Ravens are going to be the ones with the ball in their hands at the end of the game, and it's going to flip. And I think they're capable of doing that. I will deny this as well. I think the Bills at home too is substantial. I think this is big. Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, he looked very good last week. He still, to me, has to prove who he is in the playoffs, especially on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what you got in Buffalo under the lights on Sunday. I know Josh Allen's going to show up. I know he's going to show up. I don't know. I think Lamar will. I think he will. I can't say as definitively he will. And from that standpoint, I think the spread's out of whack. I think the Bills should be favored here.
Well, weren't the Bills favored initially?
Yes, and it flipped quickly. Money came in big on Baltimore.
I think statistically Baltimore is better. I think they're the best team in the league statistically.
Better than Kansas City.
Whatever statistic I am referring to, I don't know.
Interesting.
I deny as well. But I disagree with you. You can't pick against Kansas City. Tell me where the edge is on for either team over Kansas City. What do you like better about either team?
The thing with if you're going to go into any facet of the game, there's always the Mahomes X factor that he always wins.
Yeah,
totally.
That should almost trump everything. Every time we tried to bet against them this year, it's like the guy just gets it done.
I'm not saying anything definitively.
Dude, you
here.
just said whoever wins the game is going to go into Arrowhead.
I think they will. I know. I'm saying I think they will. I'm not putting
Clip
my
that.
house on
Who
the
is
line.
Clip
who is
that,
the best
JP.
defense of the three teams? Kansas City.
Yes, Baltimore's been
best-
really good post bye week.
Who is the best quarterback? Kansas City. So what is like the
Yes.
reason? Just history eventually.
Yeah, I mean, partially. I think the Ravens have a lot of weapons. Derrick Henry obviously is substantial there. If Zay Flowers returns, they have really good tight ends. Right? I know Kelsey's still really good, but I would say Andrews can be as effective as Kelsey right now.
Sure.
I think the Bills. Josh Allen has played better than anyone in football this year.
Agree.
Can Mahomes elevate to better than that? Absolutely, he can. Will he? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, generally speaking, again, Tom Brady didn't win every year, and I know that's not the most compelling case to make, but you're not going to win every single time. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game. I believe Josh Allen and Lamar have the ability to close in a 2-minute drill on the road in a tough situation like that. I also look at the Bills. Their offensive line is definitely superior to both teams.
Fair.
They have the best offensive line of the three teams.
But who are their backs?
Pardon?
You like their backs better?
Well, I mean, Cook is a touchdown machine,
Yeah.
right? I would say I like him as much as I like Isaiah Pacheco. I don't like him as much as I like Derrick Henry.
Okay.
But I do think James Cook has proven that he can get the ball in the end zone, which is pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all pretty evenly matched teams, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I think,
Well, and like to go back to like Brady, eventually Manning did win
yes.
1 year.
Yeah. Like Mahomes is not going to win 12 Super Bowls.
Is he?
No, he's not.
I mean,
12.
Jordan went 6-0 in the finals. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Although Mahomes has already lost.
He's already lost. Now, he's only lost to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He lost to Brady in the Super Bowl, and he lost to Brady when he was with the Pats at Arrowhead. Like that's and Joe Burrow got him. Burrow got him too. He's lost 3 times. Anyway,
That's crazy. You could have 3 more rings.
it's insane when you think about it. Like this guy legitimately could have 3 more rings, at least 2 more anyway. 1 in a Super Bowl, and the one where if he beats Brady and the Pats,
They win.
I think they win that year. Confirm or deny, Mike McCarthy will coach in the NFL next season.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to
Confirm it.
because there's going to be some dumpster fire like the Jacksonville Jaguars that are going to be like, let's bring in that Pro Barrel and
Yep.
let's see him operate. And It's the only thing we got.
I
We
agree.
don't want to stick our neck out and take some college guy or Cliffy Kingsbury type or whatever, and they're going to be like, he's a veteran. He's won before. He's won a Super Bowl, and somebody will hire him, man.
Yep.
100%.
Confirmed, man. New Orleans, Chicago, the Jets. Someone's hiring this guy.
Is he a little underrated now?
I'll take it a step further.
Yeah.
They might fight over Mike McCarthy.
There could be a bidding war for Mike McCarthy.
They did win a lot in previous seasons.
Well, they went to the playoffs 2 years ago.
They
Even
just-
this year, without Dak, they actually came home very respectfully.
Yeah, with Kurt.
Like down the stretch, they
Sleeper
played pretty
Rush?
well. Yeah, they played pretty well. He's a good coach. Is he perfect? No. Is he the greatest? No. But he's not a disaster, Mike McCarthy.
If you had to choose, let's say you're Chicago, and it's him or Ben Johnson.
I'd give Ben Johnson a shot. I would go with him first because I wouldn't want to miss out. Like, I know what McCarthy is. I don't know what Johnson is.
You don't want to miss out on.
You don't
the
want to
next
miss
McVay
out
or
on the next, exactly, Sean McVay or Kevin O'Connell or whatever. Like, you want that new
the new toy.
Yeah, I would go with that. But I don't think it's a bad consolation prize.
No.
Okay, Confirm or Deny After Dark still to come. Confirm or Deny brought to you by DMX One Step 2.0, the high-performance flooring underlayment that makes your vinyl or laminate floors warm, comfortable, and mold-free. DMX One Step 2.0, no mold, no cold. All right, Mike Johnson calling the game tonight. He will join us in 20 minutes. We've got Nick Taylor coming up later this afternoon, Jesse Palmer as well. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. All right, Overdrive continues. Powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Leaf Stars tonight. We'll get to our best bets later this afternoon. Leaf Stars tonight, Leafs jersey on Thursday. Sheldon Keefe's homecoming. And then at the Bell Center on Saturday night against Montreal. So a big week for the Leafs. And then they're in action on Monday against Tampa.
That's a heater set of games, right?
Big time, man. Go time. Like, this is a big, big week. 4 games in the next 7 nights, all against good teams. Like, Montreal's been really good, obviously, recently. And Tampa in here on Monday. Tampa won again last night. And we got a pair of tickets we're giving away. Al's brother is giving out clues all week as to his whereabouts. You got to know where he is in order to try to win those tickets. He's ready for the second clue of the week.
Go ahead.
Hey, Overdrive fans, happy Tuesday to you. I'm back to get you one step closer to finding out where is Al's brother and get yourself a pair of tickets to Leafs and Lightning on January 20th. Here is my Tuesday clue. The legend himself, James Duthie, is a notable resident of the city that I'm hiding out in this week.
All right. Tune in tomorrow for another clue. And the first caller through on Friday with the correct location wins a pair of tickets to see the Leafs take on the Lightning next Monday. Find Al's brother is brought to you by McAlpine Ford in Aurora.
That's too easy.
Our family, the Ford family, and you. Full details at tsn1050.ca.
He might be the most famous resident of this place.
James Duthie?
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know anyone more.
I don't think he's that famous. I think he's the best broadcaster in North America, but I don't think he's that famous.
Pretty famous, man.
Name someone else from that place.
Pretty famous.
You think Duthie's that famous?
I think Duthie, like, you go to Ottawa, Duthie is the most popular person maybe in the history of that city. He gets everything. And
where do you think he ranks in Canada?
In terms,
you think he's
well,
top 10
he's
most
definitely in the
famous people?
nah, not top 10. I mean,
amongst sports community.
Top 10.
But you can't. Athletes and stuff are always going to trump that, like
Media?
McDavid and Matthews.
Media, he's top.
Media, but
What?
like
5?
if you're including all media,
Yeah.
like not just sports media, but also like news media and everything else.
Mhm.
Would Duthie be in the top 5?
Yeah.
You think so?
He's one.
He's one. He's right.
Him and Ron McLean are probably one.
Yeah, maybe. It could be. I mean, in the sporting community, I can't argue that.
Are you hinting that you're up there?
No, I'm not talking about myself. I'm trying to think of non-sports media types that like everyone knows in the country. Like Jonas, you're a man of the news, right? You're always tracking what's going on.
Our culture doesn't do that anymore. We don't watch the same news. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was like one.
So you're saying like when
channel.
Lloyd Robertson was the
That's
man?
who I'm thinking of.
Peter
Yeah.
Mansbridge.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Peter Mansbridge is the man.
Peter Mansbridge loves a golf tournament too, man. You see Peter, he likes to play golf. Good guy. Great guy, Peter Mansbridge. Great guy.
Got to get him on soon.
We should get him on at some point, absolutely. All right, yeah. No, Duthie's in the top 5. 100%. You sold me. Not that you needed to, but I'm in.
That should be one of your lists for later in the week.
The 5 most
famous
Canadian media members.
Nah, no, that's not.
Not media?
We're not doing that.
Can't be media members.
It's a garbage.
It's got to be something more than that. Yeah, it's got to be more polarizing. And anyway. All right, hour 2 coming up. Mike Johnson will join us. Johnny might put his hand up and say, I'm more famous. Like Mike Johnson played for the Leafs, NHLer. Johnny's a pretty famous guy.
I know after Sam Darnold's performance, top 5 sports figures in limbo this year.
Okay, I like that idea for Thursday. That's a good one. All right, Johnny coming up in the next hour. Nick Taylor coming up as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.